You have to play your part in life. I was born and I was put on this earth to do this, and I don't want to do anything else besides this.
When JoJo Siwa started her career on Abby's Ultimate Dance competition, no one would have predicted that she would become one of the most recognisable celebrities of her generation. Her life has been so action-packed and non-stop that it's easy to forget how she got to be where she is today. This is JoJo Siwa in her own words. Joelle Joni Siwa was born in Omaha, Nebraska on the 19th of May 2003 to her parents Jessalyn and Tom Siwa. Her older brother Jaden was almost 3 years old at the time. Her father was a chiropractor and her mother owned 3 dance studios in Nebraska. The pair were married in October of 1998. JoJo's given names were chosen in honour of one of her mother's favourite dancers and her paternal grandmother.
My mom liked the name JoJo. And I'm named after a dancer who my mom loved, and her name is Joelle, and then my grandma's Joni. That's why there's 2 capital J's, because it's technically 2 names put together.
Around the age of 2, Jessalyn began to put bleach in JoJo's hair in order to make it blonde. Perhaps this was because even at a young age, JoJo says that her mother already had hopes to pursue a career for her.
We've been working towards this, me and her, since I was literally 2 years old. She was my dance teacher in the beginning. She's the one who's pushed me. She's the one who's been no, you got this. You can do this. Never give up on yourself.
JoJo performed her very first solo at a dance competition at the young age of 2 years old. She remembers that when she was a toddler, her mum would make her perform this solo all the time, even when she should have been sleeping.
I did my first solo when I was 2, and my mom quite literally would have friends over and it'd be very late at night. I'd be sleeping and she'd be like, hey, they want to see your solo. And I'd be like, all right, put a bow in my hair and come down and dance. Oh my God. All the time.
When JoJo started kindergarten, her teachers told her that she was so smart, she could be put into 3rd grade. This was part of the reason why JoJo would go on to be homeschooled for most of her education.
I was homeschooled because I was too smart for school. In kindergarten, I got tested and they were like, you could be in 3rd grade. But so that's why I ended up being homeschooled, is for that reason.
At 4 years old, Jess and JoJo travelled from Nebraska to California together. The goal of their trip was to get JoJo signed with an agency.
I came out to California a little bit when I was 4. My mom got me an agent out here.
JoJo continued to dance at her mother's studio in Nebraska. She spent a lot of time performing at dance competitions, recitals, and even auditions. JoJo says that her mother never coddled her growing up, and that looking back, she is actually glad that there's never been a distinction between Jess her mum and Jess her manager.
There actually is no line. There's no, this is when we're working and this is when you're my mom. My mom's never been the mom that has coddled me. She's never babied me, I guess I should say, which is something that I'm super, super grateful for because it's made me who I am today.
JoJo starred in her first ever commercial at the age of 6 for a local dancewear shop. Dance wasn't JoJo's only extracurricular activity growing up. She also played on a softball team, which is something that she looks back on fondly. When she entered 3rd grade, JoJo returned to public school for a semester. She was inspired by a classmate who was bullied by the other kids, which inspired the anti-bullying messaging that she spread later in life.
I was homeschooled all of 3rd grade, and then for the last semester, my mom wanted to put me in real school. There was a little girl there who got bullied really bad, but I ended up standing up for her and becoming her friend. That's kind of where my whole life changed.
Another source of inspiration came in July 2011, when the reality television show Dance Moms began airing on Lifetime. Although JoJo wouldn't appear on the show for another 4 years, she and her mum were already superfans in these very early days. In 2013, JoJo's mum sent in an application to Lifetime to appear on season 2 of Abby's Ultimate Dance competition. Apparently, she didn't even tell JoJo before she sent it. The producers loved JoJo, and she very quickly became a controversial character on the show. As a 9-year-old, she had to learn to deal with fans who reacted both positively and negatively towards her.
It was a 6-8 month long audition process. Lots of paperwork. They ended up liking me. I did season 2 of the show. It was incredible. I finished 5th on the show. What was cool about it is the world gravitated towards me. I had a very large personality as a kid, and I was not afraid to speak my mind. People seem to enjoy that. Abby posted something after like episode 2 aired, and she was like, who do you want to go home next week? Every single comment was JoJo, JoJo, get rid of JoJo. We hate JoJo. JoJo's a brat. And I came downstairs sobbing one night, and my mom was like, JoJo, what's wrong? And I was like, go read all these comments. And my mom told me something really interesting. She said, JoJo, but you don't go home. And I was like, you're right.
JoJo says that while she was filming the show, she was expected to act and work like an 18-year-old.
When I was 9, I was expected to work and act as if I was 18.
I was the biggest Dance Moms fan, and so to be on AUDC was really cool. I didn't really process at that time how stressful it was or how crazy the show was. I just was more like a kid having a good time.
In Season 4, Episode 3 of Dance Moms, JoJo can be briefly seen at Abby's Orlando auditions. She also attended the competition that the ALDC attended that week, and she performed a solo there. On the 25th of October 2014, JoJo attended her first Dance Moms competition on the ALDC team. Only a matter of days beforehand, production had told her to be in Pittsburgh.
So the Dance Moms audition process took so long. They called me on Saturday, and I left on Monday. Literally. I'm not kidding you. I felt like I was dreaming.
It was the same producer, same network as Abby's Ultimate Dance Competition. And so they asked me to join Dance Moms in Season 5. And originally I was only supposed to be there for a week, actually. And then they ended up enjoying me being there, enjoying me as a part of the team. And so I stayed for 2.5 years.
JoJo's journey on Dance Moms was not an easy one, especially because Abby didn't want to have JoJo on her team. Nonetheless, she believes that Abby was just doing her job.
It's no secret that Abby and I had our days, but at the end of the day, I'm so freaking grateful for her.
Abby's just doing her job too. Dance teachers are not typically nice. I, of course, had hard days on Dance Moms, but I had a lot more good days than I did hard days.
Despite her positive outlook, JoJo wasn't completely unaffected by the stress and drama of the show.
When I was little, I had a really bad stress rash on Dance Moms, and I would pick at it all day long, and I damaged every single hair follicle that has ever been right there.
The money that the Siwas received wasn't enough for them to live on, so that wasn't the main motivation for them to stay. Even at this young age, JoJo knew that her goal on the show was to get as much exposure as possible.
I was normally cruising in the bottom row or the middle row, and I would tell my mom, I'd be like, but if I'm on top, I get no TV time. The people on the bottom is who gets the fights. I knew that I wanted the TV time at that age. We got my first check for being on Dance Moms, and we were like, no, like we can't live off of this. We were living in an apartment, and it was me and my mom, 1 bedroom. We turned the living room into my bedroom. My clothes was stored in the kitchen cabinets.
In May of 2015, JoJo released her first single, I Can Make You Dance. She went on to perform this song along with some other cover songs at KAR Live. Around this time, she appeared in multiple music videos for Maddie B, as well as in videos for Nia, Bells and Whistles, and Addison LaFountain. JoJo's relationships with her fellow cast members were rather strained at first. There were incidents where the girls fought with JoJo, mocked her publicly, and excluded her from things.
We get annoyed of each other a lot. Like, me and Kalani is so funny. I'll be like, I hate you, Kalani. And she'll be like, I hate you too. I'm unfriending you. Me and Kalani unfriend each other too many times a day.
So Kendall, who was on Dance Moms, she was like, I'm gonna walk downstairs and get everyone ice cream. She came back up, got everyone else ice cream, and then got me.
Sadly, JoJo wasn't the only one excluded from events during Season 5. Both she and Nia didn't get to attend Todrick Hall's party and meet popular YouTuber Colleen Ballinger. The pair did get to meet her eventually for dinner though. It was this night when she met Colleen that JoJo was inspired to start her own YouTube channel.
Todrick Hall had a party and invited the Dance Moms cast. 4 of the girls went, and they discluded myself and Nia. Then Colleen, as Miranda, surprised the girls. Me and Nia were devastated. And then when the episode came out, Colleen saw how upset me and Nia were. And so we ended up going to dinner. Colleen was telling me that night about YouTube and how her whole family did it and how it was awesome and she vlogs her life. And that night is when I went home and I made my YouTube channel.
JoJo used to make all of her YouTube videos by herself. Eventually she hired a cameraman to film her videos, but even then she preferred to edit them herself. Some of her most popular videos were part of her series JoJo's Juice, where she would answer questions and then pour juice on her head.
I came up with, created, filmed, edited, and uploaded it all myself. I was 14 and I was working like a 37-year-old, but I was filming like a 12-year-old. For a point in time, I had a cameraman come over. He was great. He would film with me, and occasionally he would edit things, but I always just preferred to edit it myself.
I work really late at night, whether I'm editing, whether I'm writing, like I'll be up till 3 a.m. working on a video.
I was obsessing over a thumbnail with numbers, and my mom had never taken anything away from me. She never took my phone. She'd always joke about it, like, oh, I'll take your phone. And I was like, do it, then I don't get to work for 3 days. I probably had made, like, honestly 8 new thumbnails, and my mom literally walked up to me, slammed my laptop, and took it. And she was like, you're done. She was like, it's midnight. We're not gonna obsess over numbers like this.
In March of 2016, JoJo released her first line of hair bows with Claire's. She explained, "My manager literally just called Claire's and was like, I need to speak with corporate," and wiggled her way in. We met her in the hotel lobby, and they were going to do a bow test in 100 stores. Then they moved it up to 300 stores. Then it moved up to 1,000 stores, and then it moved up to all their stores. In May of that year, she released her first music video, Boomerang, which was a song about resilience in the face of bullying. The video would go on to steadily gain a lot of attention, eventually reaching almost 1 billion views. This same month, JoJo finished her run on Dance Moms. She found it very difficult to leave the show, but it allowed her to sign her contract with Nickelodeon.
I remember when I left Dance Moms, I was so sad, like I didn't want to leave.
The day I left the show, I had like a wave of like flashbacks. And I was like, I missed out on having fun every day because I was so nervous. And so I told myself, no matter what I do, I'm not gonna get nervous because I regret it and I missed out on fun and I don't wanna have that happen ever again.
JoJo was first noticed by Nickelodeon when her hair bow line sold out immediately at Claire's.
We started out in Claire's and they sold out instantly. And that's when Nickelodeon saw the success of my consumer products business and they were like, we want that, let's do this.
Very quickly, JoJo became a multi-million-dollar brand thanks to her exclusive licensing partnership with Nickelodeon. Her name and image began to appear on all kinds of merchandise.
It's like I am the brand. There's not a brand. I literally am the brand.
2017 was a huge year for JoJo's career. She made her first Nickelodeon appearance on Nickelodeon's Ultimate Halloween Costume Party. She then had guest roles on their popular shows Make It Pop, Bizaardvark, The Thundermans, Lip Sync Battle Shorties, and School of Rock. Her first TV special was then released on the network, entitled JoJo Siwa, My World. This year also saw the release of 2 new singles, Kid in a Candy Store and Hold the Drama. Her first book was published in October, entitled JoJo's Guide to the Sweet Life. At the 2017 Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards, she won Favourite Viral Music Artist. This year, JoJo also found herself at the centre of controversy when she made a YouTube video pretending that her dad was hit by a bus and was admitted to hospital. At the end of the video, she admitted that the whole story was just made up for clickbait.
We had no clickbait for the vlog. We wanted the views, so we made up a story about a near-death experience. We hope you liked it.
In 2018, JoJo dealt with a lot of social media attention. After tweeting that she was ready to become a meme, the internet began making fun of her style, voice, and hairline. It was such a trend that she became Meme of the Month in October 2018.
Growing up in front of the internet, it's the hardest thing. Everything gets judged.
When I was little, it was easy for me to say, just don't listen to it. You let them win if you let it get to you. And I would always rather pick the happy feelings because at the end of the day, happy is better.
It got to the point where JoJo developed a fear of teenagers because she thought that they hated her.
I went to Not Scary Farm and people in person were being awful. And so all the teenagers were like, JoJo Siwa, F you! JoJo Siwa, where's your hairline at? And so I actually for like 2 years had the biggest fear of teenagers.
This year, JoJo released 2 more singles, Every Girl's a Supergirl and High Top Shoes. In November, she released her first EP, entitled DREAM The Music, featuring 4 new songs, DREAM, My Story, Everyday Pop Stars, and Only Getting Better. Although the songs were a huge hit, the recording process filled her with insecurity. Eventually, she found the courage to sing live, but she still didn't like to take voice lessons.
I would record my music, but I used to leave every session crying because I just thought I was doing so awful. When I was 15, I never sang live. November 2018, I was like, I'm never not singing live again. Turn my microphone on. And at first, everyone was like, JoJo, that's a bad idea. And I was like, no, I do not care. I don't care. I don't care what I sound like put my mic live.
JoJo appeared in the Nickelodeon original film Blurt with Jace Norman in 2018. This was also the year that her popular animated series began, The JoJo and Bobo Show. In this series, JoJo voiced all of the characters herself, including background characters. JoJo attended the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards in 2018, where she won Favourite Musical YouTube Creator and performed a medley of her hits on stage. She collaborated with JCPenney to release apparel and merchandise. At the age of 15, JoJo graduated high school through her homeschooling program. Part of the motivation for doing so was to allow her to go on tour without worrying about her schoolwork. Going to college, however, was never an option for JoJo, because it was believed that it would halt her career.
It would have been worse for my career for me to go to college because of how busy I am and how much time it requires.
In June of 2019, the FDA issued a warning about dangerous levels of asbestos in a JoJo Siwa branded cosmetics kit. Claire's recalled the product, and JoJo apologised in a YouTube video.
Safety is myself and Nickelodeon's #1 priority in everything, in every JoJo product and in everything out there.
JoJo's first major concert tour began in 2019, entitled DREAM The Tour, travelling across the US, UK, Canada and Australia. She was so determined to perform that she refused to rest even when she was sick or when she lost her voice. She even went so far as deciding to get veneers because she didn't want to deal with wearing braces during her tour.
One time I was on tour, it was my final show in the UK, and I had fully lost my voice. Showed up to soundcheck, I was like, hey everybody. And then they were like, what are you gonna do tonight? Do you wanna use your pre-recordings? I was like, absolutely not, I'm gonna go out there and just do what I do. 10 minutes before I'm on stage, I'm still in my dressing room, sobbing my eyes out, laying on the floor. And my mom comes up to me, she's like, JoJo, honey, we're gonna cancel the show. You cannot go on stage right now. You don't feel good. It's okay, we can reschedule. And I literally was like, no, it's not. I didn't feel anything for an hour and a half, came off stage, and I literally, Ezra had to carry me back to the dressing room. I couldn't move, I couldn't talk, I was crying.
I ended up getting veneers because I was 17 when I was gonna get braces again, and I didn't want to be that old. I knew I was gonna go on tour again, and I was like, I would rather just have done everything.
JoJo seemed to push aside not only her physical health concerns, but also her emotional well-being in favour of working.
I don't think my past me felt many emotions, and I think that my present me is feeling the effects of that. I think past me took everything and made it positive. I feel like present me now feels like sometimes I have to keep that positive outlook, to keep that reputation. The second that I feel sad, it takes a lot to get me there, but once I'm there, it's very hard for me to come out of it.
2019 saw JoJo voice acting in the Angry Birds movie 2. She also guest starred on multiple TV series, such as SpongeBob SquarePants, All That, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and Middle School Moguls. She briefly returned to Dance Moms for a special guest appearance in Season 8, Episode 9. She won Favourite Social Music Star at the Kids' Choice Awards in both 2019 and 2020. And in April of 2019, JoJo released a second EP called Celebrate, which featured 4 new songs: It's Time to Celebrate, Number One You, Worldwide Party, and Bop. By early 2020, JoJo had gradually stopped uploading her regular content to YouTube. This was because the platform began adding restrictions to channels that were identified as kids' channels, including restricting their posting and limiting the money that they can make.
They were like, oh, kids are being forced to make YouTube videos, parents are taking all the money, kids can't make money anymore if you're gonna be on YouTube. Everything came crashing down for us on YouTube. One day, I went from making a chunk of money on YouTube to literally not a penny. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna promote my competitor, so I couldn't take brand deals.
Due to the global pandemic, JoJo built a stage in her backyard and began to upload a series of performances to YouTube, which she called Worldwide Live. She then made dance videos for her songs and performed in a drive-through concert. At the age of 17, she began to date Mark Bontempo. The pair were dating from August to November 2020. JoJo was involved in a lot of controversy in 2020 when she defended her former dance instructors, Abby and Gianna. Fellow Dance Mums alum Brooke Highland posted a TikTok cringing because Facebook recommended Abby as a friend suggestion. JoJo commented on her video, "It's one thing to just nod at her back, it's another to post it." JoJo further defended her position, declaring that it's sad that Abby's students don't thank Abby for what she did.
And it makes me really, really, really upset that I am one of the few. There's only a few people that really, truly thank Abby and are thankful and grateful for what she's done for us.
A lot of fans have pointed out that Brooke's experience with Abby was very different from JoJo's, since she grew up at the studio. But JoJo clearly didn't listen, because just 7 months later, she defended Gianna in a similar way. Christy Lukasiak held a Zoom Q&A with some college girls, where she declared that Gianna wasn't nice to her or Chloe. Needless to say, JoJo was upset about it.
That is absolutely the most disgusting and ignorant thing that I have heard anybody say. Gia is one of the sweetest people in the whole world.
On the music front, JoJo appeared in Meghan Trainor's I Believe in Santa music video. Her own music video, Non-Stop, was released in June. She found herself at the centre of controversy yet again because one of her backup dancers, Liliana Ketchman, was wearing dark makeup to make her appear like a monkey. Some people compared this makeup to the practice of blackface. The video was released at the peak of the Black Lives Matter movement, where protests were still occurring all over the country. JoJo addressed the criticism on Instagram, saying, "We're talking about kids dressing up as circus animals. No one in my video is wearing blackface. It's awful that anyone's mind would even go there. I'm on the right side of history here. Stop trying to make this about something it isn't." In late 2020, JoJo released a Christmas EP featuring the songs Run Run Rudolph, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, It's Christmas Now, and Where Are You Christmas? At this time, JoJo appeared on 3 significant TV shows, Celebrity Watch Party, The Substitute, and Season 3 of The Masked Singer. She received a lot of hate on Twitter during her time as the T-Rex because people said she couldn't sing. Despite all the criticism during the year, JoJo was listed as one of Time magazine's 100 most influential people of 2020. In January 2021, a TikTok was made pointing out that the board game JoJo's Juice, which was aimed at children, asked highly inappropriate questions. The game included questions about nudity, kissing, twerking, and stealing.
My name and my image have been used to promote this board game that has some really inappropriate content. I would have never, ever, ever approved or agreed to be associated with this game if I would have seen these cards before they started selling it.
Later this month, rumours began to spiral online when JoJo collaborated with a group of LGBTQ+ influencers to a song with lyrics saying that you're one of us. Shortly after this, JoJo confirmed the rumours by posting a TikTok to the song Born This Way and releasing a photo of herself in a t-shirt which read, "Best gay cousin ever."
I came out when I was 17 and I didn't understand at the time what a big deal that was. I didn't understand why that was scary. I remember I was on the phone with my girlfriend at the time and I was like, "I think I want to come out to the world." And she was like, "Okay, do it."
Responses to this announcement were very mixed. Some loved and embraced her more than ever, and others decided to boycott anything associated with her.
Of course, there was a lot of positivity and a lot of love and acceptance, but then there was also a lot of negativity, and I did lose a lot.
If it was 52,000 comments, it was 51,800 negative comments. I'm never gonna let my kid watch you again. I'm never gonna buy a bow again.
What seemed to shock JoJo the most was how corporations that she worked with reacted to her coming out. She made a TikTok saying that one company wanted to have a meeting with her immediately following her announcement, and the president rolled his eyes at her when she said that she wanted to tell her young followers the truth about being gay. She even called out Nickelodeon for their reaction.
They shifted a lot when I came out. A lot of people at corporations told me that I made the wrong choice, that I shouldn't have come out, that I shouldn't tell my young demographic that I'm gay.
Really?
But regardless, JoJo was very happy with her first girlfriend, Kylie Prue. The pair went public in February 2021, after dating for around a month and being best friends for around a year. JoJo posted a TikTok where she suggested that Candace Cameron Bure was the rudest celebrity she had ever met. This drew a lot of media attention to both of them, and JoJo explained the situation that happened between them when she was a kid.
I went to go say hi to Candace, and I was like, hey, Candace, can I take a picture with you? She's like, not right now. I was 10 or 11 at the time. I walked away from her and went back over to my mom, and I turned around and she was taking pictures with other kids. I did regret posting what I posted because I was like, neither of us deserved the internet hate.
JoJo turned 18 in May of 2021, which gave her access to the money in her Coogan account. Finances aside, she also had to learn how to navigate being an adult in a world that still viewed her as a child.
Once I was able to process, like, this is 15%, add 85% of what this is, and that's that number, from 9 to 18 blew my mind. Like, that was damn hard work, but so worth it. Giving up childhood, so worth it. Everyone would always ask me, they'd be like, when's the Bobo gonna go? Like, that was a thing that people from my mom asked me, to corporate asked me, Nickelodeon asked me. I woke up, it was the day after my 18th birthday, and I literally was like, I don't want to wear it today. And my mom was like, okay, so don't. And I was like, all right, that feels right.
JoJo competed on the 30th season of Dancing with the Stars, dancing with Jenna Johnson in the show's first ever same-sex partnership. The two of them came in second place. This was an opportunity for JoJo to explore her more adult, grown-up public image.
Believe it or not, Dancing with the Stars was more stressful than any TV show that I've ever done. So I really grew up on Dancing with the Stars. I think that I really came into my own on the show.
Jenna, for me, really broke me out of my shell, and she really made me feel comfortable in my own skin.
While she was filming the show, JoJo and Kylie broke up. The pair would go on to date a second time, but ultimately broke up again in June 2022. JoJo appeared on Celebrity Family Feud alongside her family and starred in a Nickelodeon film she helped produce called The J-Team. She took to social media, complaining that Nickelodeon wouldn't let her perform the new songs from this movie during her tour. JoJo returned once again to reality TV by teaming up with her mum for the show Siwa's Dance Pop Revolution. Throughout the series, they created a new kids pop group, XOMG Pop. JoJo's YouTube channel was transformed into a channel for this group, and JoJo began to manage, mentor, and invest in these kids.
As I'm aging up, I kind of know that now there's going to be this hole. Who's the next generation of kids going to look to? So kind of felt that was my duty to fill that hole. We develop, we invest in them. That's what I tell my girl group now too, is I'm like, sometimes you just have to put your big girl panties on and fake it. We did this shoot here and it was freezing and they were cold and they were all sick. I was like, let's fight through this 10 minutes, let's get through it.
Whilst filming Siwa's Dance Pop Revolution, JoJo launched the JoJo Siwa Childhood Cancer Foundation to raise proceeds for families affected by childhood cancer. In December, JoJo hosted The Ellen Show, and XOMG Pop performed one of their songs in the episode. Late this year, she also won a People's Choice Award, winning the category Favourite Social Star for her appearance on Dancing with the Stars. In April of 2022, JoJo gave up her signature side ponytail for good and got a pixie cut. Soon afterwards, she took to social media, revealing that she was not invited to the Kids' Choice Awards. JoJo worked on many different television shows in 2022, including High School the Musical the series, The Fruities Are Back, Kung Fu Sock, and America's Got Talent, where XOMG Pop auditioned. She also became a judge on season 17 of So You Think You Can Dance.
And it was weird to go from being on the competitive side of it to the judging side.
She then made a deal with Meta to produce a docuseries called JoJo Goes, where she tried several activities for the first time. She also made an appearance in Meghan Trainor's Made You Look music video this year. In May, JoJo's house was broken into while she and her family were on vacation.
It's really confusing because your home is your safe space. And it feels like you're watching a horror movie, but it's actually happening to you.
Paparazzi also made a habit of camping outside the edge of JoJo's neighbourhood because she and other celebrity neighbours live there. She has often been followed when she goes out, and people have purposely tried to crash into her car.
They camp outside the edge of my neighborhood because there's a few celebrities that live in my neighborhood, and so then they'll wait for us to drive out. They will swerve into me. I've had to become a really, really defensive driver because of it.
But what seems to upset JoJo the most about losing her privacy is how it affected her relationships. When she began dating social media star Avery Cyrus in August of 2022, she found that people were constantly comparing their relationship to their relationships with their exes. They announced their breakup in December 2022, with JoJo heavily suggesting that she was used for views.
Because I got used for views.
I've had 2 very public relationships. And I kind of realized, like, no matter who I end up marrying, no matter who I end up dating, they will always be compared now to my exes. I never cared about my life being on display because it was my life. Like, it's kind of all I know. It's who I am and it is what it is. But then once I've started getting into relationships, that I've been very scared of now with the internet, because now it's somebody else's whole life on display.
Avery has tried to combat these rumours, saying that JoJo was the one who made their relationship public, and that she was still hung up on her ex Kylie during their relationship. JoJo's romantic relationships weren't the only ones splitting up at this time. In September, Kaya left XOMG Pop. The Siwas never publicly acknowledged her departure, simply editing her out of things and pretending nothing had happened. JoJo hosted the first ever Children's and Family Emmy Awards show this year. By the end of the year, JoJo's original 360 deal with Nickelodeon had expired. Although they extended their merchandise agreement, officially their paths were beginning to split.
I signed with Nickelodeon when I was 13 or 14. It's a full overall 360. Once I turned 18, we added on a little more length onto the products.
In 2023, JoJo made an appearance on RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars and competed on Season 2 of Special Forces, World's Toughest Test. In June, JoJo's dog got attacked by a coyote in her backyard, right in front of her dad. Despite this tragedy, JoJo didn't take a break from her social media. She felt the need to continue posting to her Snapchat every single day.
I Snapchat almost every day, and this was at a phase where I was doing it strictly every day. My dad passed away, and he passed away in a pretty brutal way. He was a baby puppy. He was about 4 months old and got attacked by a coyote. I remember that day being like, I need to Snapchat, but I can't. I was so sad, and there's been lots of days like that where I am like, got to, but I can't. And you just have to flip it on.
In early 2023, JoJo posted an image to her Snapchat story, posing like a pregnant woman. She continued to post image after image of baby content alongside her friend Ezra, pretending that he was the father of her fake child. This clickbait understandably upset people online because it was insensitive to people struggling with infertility.
It circles on the internet like every 4 months. People are like, you're pregnant. And then this last time I finally fed into it, and then people got so mad at me.
Press is addicting, and I've fallen into the trap before.
In May this year, Leah was fired from XOMG Pop, and in August, both Bella and Kinley left. Once again, no official statement was made, but it doesn't seem like they left on good terms. JoJo also sparked outrage this year after she defended Colleen Ballinger on the Howie Mandel podcast. Colleen had just been accused of grooming and being inappropriate with underage fans.
The internet can take a lie and run so far with it to the point where you just can't do anything about it. I know Colleen very, very, very well, and I think the work that Colleen has done for the internet is incredible.
This is the third YouTuber that she has remained friends with, despite them being cancelled for minors. The first two being Shane Dawson and James Charles, both of whom she continues to collaborate with to this day. JoJo recently signed a record deal with Columbia Records. Starting in January 2024, she's contractually allowed to do everything herself.
January this year, I believe, is when it flips to I can do anything. I am now an adult, and I'm gonna be putting out adult music.
She is also set to appear in an upcoming horror film called All My Friends Are Dead. At the age of 20, JoJo Siwa has lived one of the most busy and turbulent lives in the public eye. From such a young age, she was taught that fame and fortune were the keys to happiness. Perhaps the next few years will challenge this perception, and she will have the opportunity to bring some healing and peace to her inner child.